All glories to Lakshmi and Dhanvantari. So this is question and answers video number 1. The first question was, what is the meaning of Trishul? Trishul is the spear, the three-headed spear of Lord Shiva, who is a demigod, very powerful demigod. Then the next more deeper question was how to gain an answer about which is the way. It's a very good and very deep question. So, as we know, nothing comes from nothing. So everyone comes from the omnipotent person, which is also sometimes called God. And this God manifests his energy in 3 dimensions. In the eternal spiritual dimension, in the temporary material dimension, and in the marginal region, which constitutes the living entities which have a choice to either go to the spiritual or material worlds. So, when a soul chooses to experience the material existence, then that same omnipotent God expands himself in the form of Paramatma and lives in every atom and in the heart of every living being. When the search for an answer to the question of the meaning of life and the goal of life becomes very serious in a soul which has been transmigrating since time immemorial, then that super soul dwelling in the heart of the living entity, the supreme witness of all, appears, manifests outside as a self-realized spiritual master who can give guidance to the living being. This depends largely on the sincerity of the seeker. So what about Buddhist meditation then? Is that the way? The answer is, it may be preliminary, it may be a good starting point, but it's not the way to the final goal, because the Buddhists are not searching for their eternal relation of their eternal soul in relation to that form of God for which they were created originally. So we are created beings, we are at the same time eternal beings, and we have a purpose. So if we are not trying to awake our eternal nature, our eternal purpose, like Buddhists usually do, then this cannot be said to be the way. Then the next question was about the mirrors of relation. And I said there are 9 mirrors of relation, and it's very essential to know what these mirrors are, so that we don't just say, yeah, life is a mirror or that person is a mirror, but to understand which type of mirror it is and what I am to learn from that experience. Yes, and these mirrors can be related, roughly related to the chakras, just to make it more easy to understand. Then the next question is, what is the meaning of Brahmananda? Ananda is the bliss potential, but as mentioned before, God creates in 3 dimensions. He transforms his Shakti for the material creation and also for the marginal creation. So the marginal plane has different regions as well. It's called Viraja, means completely free of the influence of material modes. It's sometimes called Brahman or the Tatastha Shakti, different aspects of that region. And the potential of bliss is manifesting in the material world as dualities of sorrow and joy, like and dislike, pain and pleasure, etc. But on the plane of the Brahman, which is free from the gunas, the material 3 gunas, there the Ananda is of a different type, and it's Brahmananda. That is basically a state which is completely free from any suffering, knowing and feeling one's own eternity. And many people consider this the highest achievement, but this is not so, because Ananda is originally has its root in Premananda or Sevananda, which is the bliss which is experienced in the relation to the Supreme Eternal Being in one's own eternal relationship. But that is not the subject of the question here. So this Brahman is the impersonal effulgence of God, and it has some semblance with the Nirvana of the Buddhists, but the Nirvana of the Buddhists is actually on a lower plane, still in the material platform of almost pure Sattva Guna. That's again a different subject matter. So, but the soul has two other aspects, which are Sat and Chit. Sat meaning eternal existence, and Chit meaning knowledge and consciousness. And these two aspects also manifest differently on the three levels of existence. So we will maybe discuss that at another time. And so Sat Chit Ananda is the nature of the soul. But on the ascending impersonal path of yoga and Buddhistic sadhana practice, these three aspects can only be realized to the Brahman level, which is not the highest potential of the soul. So if the soul wants to realize her highest love relation potential, then this is only possible in relation to the eternal form of God for which she was created. And to manifest that potential, it is indispensable to have the association with a realized master who has already himself realized it and who can give the spark of the tendency to serve and to love, which was not ever experienced before, because we have only experience of the material plane or maximum of the Brahman level where we came from originally. So it is a higher type of love potential. We need to get incentive, need to get the mantra which is infused with that higher loving potency. So these people realize souls which take birth as humans to remind us of our eternal nature, and usually they have been sent from the eternal spiritual plane, and this is not the same plane as the bodhisattvas, because they don't know their eternal relation and they are not coming from that highest plane. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I can recommend my video What is 108 LSA 4 to 6, and there I will explain more about the gunas, and also there is a whole video series by my instructing spiritual master which I uploaded to my channel. It's called Psychology of Yoga, and that might be very helpful to understand more about the subject as well. Thank you very much for your attention. May the Om Love be with us. Jai Amrita Dhanvantari.